Are you struggling to figure out where you want to move to in the North Orlando market? Well, if you spent any amount of time searching online, you may have found cities like Oviedo, Lake Mary, Sanford, Longwood, Barry, Deltona, DeLand, and you may be wondering, what are the differences between these locations? What are the differences in the cities? And you're not alone. Many of the locals even struggle with that decision. But today we're going to be breaking down exactly the differences between those to help you make a confident decision when you're making your move. We're going to break these down into Volusia County and Seminole County, and why that bridge in between is such a crucial decision point on why so many people choose to where to live. Having grown up and lived in this area for 21 years, I can give you the truth behind why people decide to live where they live and why my customers have chosen to live in both locations. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my unfiltered thoughts on why we chose to live in Debary, Florida in Volusia County. Okay, so real quick before we get into the rest of the video, if you're looking for homes, something that's a little bit more unique, there's not a lot of housing options for it, my team and I have a unique way of finding properties off the market for you, and so we would love to help you get the most options for you to choose from, whether on market or off market. From what we uncover could be good for you. So reach out to me on the phone number on the screen and we'll be able to send you some off-market opportunities. We'd love to show you how we do it. When making any move, you are likely going to consider factors such as schools, commute, lifestyle around the neighborhood, and the home itself, so the type of house. And while each different city that I mentioned before, like Debary, Deltona, DeLand, Lake Mary, Sanford, and Oviedo will have a different feel to each of them, you can largely group them into the county that they're located within. So that's Volusia County on the north side and Seminole County on the south side. Hi, I'm Charlie Peterson, team lead of the Peterson Group with Keller Williams Realty here in the North Orlando market. My mission with this channel is to give you all the information you need to know in order to make a confident decision when making a move to the North Orlando market. If you're considering making this move, go ahead and reach out to us on the phone number on the screen. We would love to help you out with this. So let's talk about the schools. And if schools aren't an important thing for you, go ahead and jump ahead into the video to get to the next topics. But schooling districts are one of the biggest factors when my customers and ourselves have chosen to move where we live. And so let's dive into the difference between Seminole County and Volusia County. So Seminole County, according to niche.com, is actually ranked number 1 out of 67 counties in the state of Florida. So there is kind of a prestige to the Seminole County public schooling system. Now, public schools aren't everything, and there are plenty of private school options, even in Volusia County and Seminole County themselves. So maybe if you're going the private school option or the homeschooling option, that doesn't have a huge weight to the factor on why you choose to live where you live, but Seminole County is ranked number 1. Now, Volusia County, on the other hand, is actually ranked number 40 out of 67. So they're in the bottom half of the schooling systems there. And I have heard from some of my customers that they've chosen to move out of Volusia County towards Seminole County for the public school systems. And I've also had other families move from Seminole County to Volusia County because schooling was not that important, or they were doing homeschooling. So it wasn't a huge decision factor for them. Another big decision factor for many of the families that I've helped work with is the commute. And so one of the main hubs for jobs is actually in the Lake Mary to Orlando area. So Lake Mary's got a ton of high-paying jobs along the International Parkway corridor. There's many corporations that actually have a headquarters right there. So there's a lot of jobs in that area. Now, if you're commuting and you're coming from the Orlando area at the end of the day for work, you're going to experience the bridge if you work in the Sanford to Volusia County area, or if you live in the Sanford to Volusia County area. And so the bridge is going to be one of the biggest pain points when it comes to traffic here in the Orlando area in this region. And that bridge can easily add 20 minutes or so worth of commute time if you live in the Volusia County area, or even just normal fender benders that happen in the middle of a day or anything like that can add a lot of traffic. And that's been a pain point for many of the customers I've helped. It's been a pain point for us as we lived in Volusia County. And so that's one big thing to consider. Now, not only will traffic build up here going from Seminole to Volusia County, you're also going to get the traffic that builds up coming down in the rush hour traffic, around like 8, 9 in the morning. It's going to be a big slowdown right before the bridge as well. So if you're working, in that area and you're living in Sanford or Volusia County area, definitely take that commute into consideration. Now, there's not only just I-4 to consider when you think about your commute, you've also got to think about the other roads that are especially in like the Seminole County area, where they can really get backed up too. So roads like that are 436, 434, Lake Mary Boulevard, 1792, 46, And so if you're going from east to west or west to east during these rush hour timeframes, you can easily sit at stoplights and in traffic for a long period of time. On the plus side though, if you did want to stretch your boundaries a little bit further and you want to go up to Volusia County to maybe get a bigger home, there is good news. The DOT is working on a new bridge spanning the St. Johns River there at Lake Monroe, so there should be some ease of traffic and congestion there in the next handful of years. It's been in the works for a little while, and hopefully it's going to start breaking ground here in the next couple of years, so that should be a huge relief there, and that'll make commutes from north to south there along that I-4 stretch very easy. Now, if you're considering making the move to this area, my team and I would love to help give you a kind of a geographical territory to help consider even the local things that don't always show up on the maps for traffic jams. And so we can give you that specified geographic area that might help you with a certain commute time that you're comfortable with. So go ahead and reach out to us on the phone number on the screen, and we'll kind of give you that area as soon as you reach out. Generally speaking, in Seminole County, which are the cities like Sanford, Lake Mary, Longwood, Oviedo, Winter Springs, you're going to find many more golf community options, HOA options, and homes that are a little bit older but a part of master plan communities. There's not nearly as many no HOA communities or even large no HOA communities within the Seminole County area, and that's going to feel a bit different than the Volusia County area. Also, Seminole County will have a little bit more of an urban feel, so it's a little bit more developed. You've got newer restaurants and so forth, and we're going to cover that in just a second. Now, Volusia County is going to feel a little bit more rural. It's not as developed. You're going to have a lot of scattered lots, no HOA communities. Communities like Debary has Plantation Estates. You've got Orlandia Heights, and Deltona is largely a no HOA city. I mean, it's just a sea of houses with no HOA. And there are some HOA communities within there too. But in the Volusia County area, there's really not that many planned golf communities either. I mean, you've got Debary Golf and Country Club, Glen Abbey, and Victoria Hills. In Deltona, there is a golf course too, but it's not really a planned community around it. So the big three would be Debary Golf and Country Club, Glen Abbey, and Victoria Hills. So overall, kind of the biggest differences between these two areas is going to be no HOA communities being more predominant in the Volusia County area. It feels a little bit more rural. You're going to get a bigger, newer home for your price than in Seminole County. So maybe you want a little bit more acreage too. Seminole County and Volusia County will have differing ranges on prices on these, but Seminole County, you're going to find communities like Chuliota, Geneva, and then parts of Sanford. They're going to have more of your larger acreage properties. And the land here, a lot of it's going to be high and dry, very good built land on acreage. Price points easily for these are in the 7 figures if you want somewhat of a modern house there. 7 figures very quickly in Seminole County. Now in Volusia County, you're going to have even more options for larger acreage properties that are going to stretch into Debary, you're going to stretch into Osteen, the outskirts of Deltona, and then DeLand has a ton of acreage options, especially along the southwest and northwest side of DeLand. Price points in there, I would say you're probably going to be looking 600 or above for some good land there in a typical house as well. So, but price points can easily be in the 7 figures. I've sold several in the 7 figures there in the Volusia County area, as well as down in Seminole County area too. So if you want to get some acreage property sent to your inbox in typical areas that we see are very popular for being a little bit more rural in the acreage size, go ahead and reach out to me at the phone number on the screen. Just text me real quick and I'd be happy to help you out with that. Now let's talk about lifestyle between the two different areas in Volusia County versus Seminole County. And generally speaking, Seminole County is going to have that more urban feel, as I've mentioned before. You're going to have more of your higher end dining options. You're going to have your big box stores, your big chain restaurants, and some of the other big major company players in the area in the Seminole County. Now, in Volusia County, as far as dining and so forth, you're going to find a lot more small businesses. You're going to find more mom and pop shops, and it's going to feel a little bit less developed, a little bit more small town feel. Now, for entertainment and so forth, obviously Seminole County being a little bit more urban, you've got more nightlife opportunities there, bars, restaurants, and so forth. You're closer to downtown Orlando too, for like the Kia Center, formerly known as the Amway Center, and you're going to have some major developments going there. So Seminole County is a little bit closer to that. Now, in Volusia County and both in Seminole County, you're going to have these nature trails for exercise paths. In Volusia County, this is going to be part of the River to Sea Loop, which stretches for miles and miles and miles, goes all the way out to the east coast towards the beach side. and then connects back in through DeLand down into Deltona and so forth. And that has been a very popular trail for those who are cyclists or those who want to just exercise and bike along places like Gemini Springs, Blue Springs State Park, even out to River City Nature Park 2, which is known for disc golf. So you've got some more nature parks and springs in the Volusia County area. I didn't even mention De Leon Springs too. Down in Seminole County, you do have some other parks too. Down there, you've got Wekiva Springs State Park, you've got Big Tree Park, and then you've also got the Black Hammock out there towards Lake Monroe too. So you've got plenty of outdoor activities and lifestyles in both different counties for you to choose from. Okay, so here's why my family chose Debary, Florida to be our forever home, or at least for several years to come. And a little backstory, my wife and I actually grew up in the Seminole County area ever since 2004. So over like the last 21 years, we have lived in or nearby the Seminole County area. And when we got married 6 years ago, we still lived for the next 2 years in Sanford and Longwood. And it was just familiar for us. We loved the amenities, the shopping, the entertainment, the different job options as well in that Seminole County area. But when it came time for us to buy a home, we were really looking at the options, what we could afford both in the Seminole County and the Volusia County area, because I'd been selling almost equally between the two. And we really liked this community called Victoria Park in DeLand. So you could get a bigger house, price point was good, and at the time the housing market afforded us as first-time home buyers to purchase a home without losing out to many of the cash buyers that were taking place in the Seminole County area. So we chose to move to Victoria Park, as even though that's in DeLand, that was only about 20 minutes to 25 minutes without traffic towards our family in the Lake Mary area. So it was phenomenal for us. We really liked the neighborhood. It was just a great move there. But we knew that we wanted to move back closer to the Seminole County area in the future. So that was kind of a stepping stone house for us. And so we chose to move back to Debary, Florida. A few of the factors why we didn't move back into Seminole County was, one, price point. The schooling options from what we found in Debary, Florida were fantastic too. And if we wanted to send our kids to private school, you could go public school, you could go private school without a problem there in Debary for what we were looking for. And at the same time too, you could get a bigger space, a quieter neighborhood, quieter smaller town feel in Debary versus the Seminole County area. Seminole County is growing and still growing, but it is getting a little bit busy down there for what we were looking for. Now, it's still nothing compared to LA or Miami, but we really liked the small town quiet feel of Debary, even though they had some development coming up. Debary is building a new downtown center, and that's going to be a cool area for some local small businesses and shops and restaurants there. And it's a great central point with many outdoor activities to do too. So we chose Debary, Florida as our next home. I hope that helped you out a little bit on some of our decision factors there. But I've heard several people say Debary is actually called Deboring, and so you may not like it. It's not a one-size-fits-all type of a city or anything like that, but that's why we chose to live there. Now, if you would like to move here to the Orlando area and you want some guidance on different options and housing choices and commute times, go ahead and reach out to me on the phone number on the screen. Would love to get you a personalized list to you.